You know, this is really a life, ain't it? I mean, here we are, out in the fresh air, sitting around a fire singing songs, not really having a care in the world.
Yeah, I reckon I feel pretty much the same way, Tater. I tried all that regular city stuff, but for some reason, things just don't seem to feel right. I don't know what it is. I guess I just figured that I could just kind of cowboy around a little, and maybe something would come along that I would feel that I'm a part of. Gotta tell you though, I do miss some of those big dinners with a turkey, a big ham, lots of smashed taters, brown gravy all over the plate.
Hey, Skeeter, how about some of them fresh baked butter rolls right out of the oven? Wow!
In my heart, it is Christmas time of year. In my heart, I know it will never disappear. For the babe who came to save the world so long ago still gives to me the love that I need so. Christmas is a time for love. Christmas is friends sharing. Christmas time brings families us together again. In my heart, it is Christmas time all year. In my heart, I know Jesus is always near, for he came to give his love to all who would believe. And he gives his love to all who will receive. Christmas is a time for love. Christmas is friends sharing. Christmas time brings families close together again. In my heart, it is Christmas time of year. In my heart, I know it will never disappear. For the babe who came to save the world so long ago still gives to me the love that I need so. Gives to me the love.
Well, I just can't see being in such a hurry with everything. Like rushing all the time like your barn's on fire. Or maybe your old man's dying or something. The way I figure it, if there's such a thing as the old boy upstairs, he must have had a better idea than for a man just going to work every day in his fancy duds, driving his fancy cars and trucks, having all them payments to make on all them quads and big homes and all that stuff. Yep, I think this is a real life for me. I don't need all that modern stuff to make me happy.
Hey, bud, what about you? You ain't saying a whole bunch tonight.
Well, I don't know. I was just kind of thinking a little. Ain't this Christmas Eve?
You know, I think you're right. I reckon it is Christmas Eve.
Well, I was just thinking back a little.
About what, Bud?
Well, you know, when I was a kid, I remember sitting around the fireplace in our old ranch house. Mom and Dad, my 2 brothers and 3 sisters. Mom would kind of bring out her old long-handled pot with popcorn kernels, and we'd all take turns shaking the old pot over the fire until it was all popped. Then we'd heat up some hot butter to pour on top of it, grab a little salt, then Dad would open up this really old family Bible and start reading this Christmas story to us.
Oh, come on, Bud. You don't believe all that Bible stuff, do you?
Christmas is believing that when Jesus Christ was born, God came down from heaven on that first Christmas morn.
Christmas is believing a gift to all mankind was wrapped and laid in a manger, and by faith you can find.
You just can't have a Christmas without believing, but you can have His gift of love this holy season. There's so much more to Christmas than just a feeling. In my heart I know that Christmas is believing. Christmas is believing 2,000 years ago. The light that shined in darkness and the world didn't know.
Christmas is believing the Savior is Christ the Lord.
And if we will believe Him, He will live forevermore. You just can't have a Christmas without believing, but you can have His gift of love this holy season. There's so much more to Christmas than just a feeling. In my heart I know that Christmas is believing. In my heart I know that Christmas is believing.
Well, the best I can recall the story, I believe this here story's supposed to be true. You see, fellas, it was a long time ago. I reckon it was nearly more than 2,000 years ago, as best as I can recall. Anyhow, there was this girl and her fiancé who were about to get all hitched up and get married, you see. Well, this girl and her boyfriend who were going somewhere, and I believe that's where it happened to them.
What do you mean? There's where it happened. What happened?
Well, I reckon you all better listen now, because I'm a-telling you guys, this is the double dog truth, if I ever told it. I think that girl's name was Mary, or something like that. Anyhow, she and her boyfriend were fixing to get married, you see, but I think she wanted to be by herself for a while, because as I recall, she was alone in her house when all of a sudden, Coamo! I mean, this bright light started shining on her, and then right out of nowhere, here comes this big angel. And he decides to talk with her and all. And of course, she's kind of scared about the whole thing. Boy, I mean, she must have heard some kind of story from that there angel, because he told her that she's going to have this here child, and he was going to be the Son of God. I mean, she was a grabbing her heart as it was flying through the air. Then that big angel told her this baby she was a having already has a name, and she has to call him Jesus. Well, I'm telling you, I reckon she said that was okay, since she didn't have a name prepared anyways. But heck, she wasn't even prepared to be pregnant.
Gee whiz, Bud. This has got to be one of the world's greatest whoppers of a tale that I ever did hear.
Well, I don't know if it's true or it ain't, but it sure does beat sitting around here with nothing to do. Go ahead with your story, Bud.
Okay. Now, as I recall, before this Mary even knew what she was a-doing, she jumps up and starts a-running off to see her older cousin who lived in some other town. Well, when she got there, she started telling her cousin that she's either lost her marbles or God's a-fixin' to do something that nobody's going to believe. Well, the next thing you know, that big angel was getting really busy, because before you could slap a mule, that angel feller showed up in front of her boyfriend's house and starts telling him about the whole entire story.
So what did this angel tell him, Bud?
You know, that boyfriend's got a lot to swaller, about her having this kid and all. Well, especially when he's the one she's supposed to be a-marrying. But I reckon once he'd seen that big angel and heard what he had to say, he decided that maybe it was truth and he'd better go along with the whole idea. expect neither one of them really had an idea of what was going to be a happening. But her betrothed's name was Joseph or something like that. So Joseph and his married girl, they went ahead and got married. And sure enough, she was pregnant. I mean to tell you, she was really pregnant. I mean, she looked like she was about to pop right there.
Well, where did all this happen, Bud?
Well, as I recall that story my dad was a-reading to us every year about this time, the two of them got headed out for this little town called Bethlehem. But by golly, when they got there wasn't no hotels open to them, or if there were, none of them had any empty rooms.
That kind of puts her in a bad situation, don't it? So what do you reckon happened to her?
Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say, Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. While shepherds watched their flocks by night, they saw a bright new shining star. They heard a choir from heaven sing, the music came from afar. Hark now, hear the angels sing, the King is born today, and will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Hark now, hear the angels sing, the King is born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Now Joseph and his wife Mary came to Bethlehem that night. They found no place to bear her child, not a single room was in sight. By and by, they found a little nook in a stable all forlorn. And in a manger cold and dark, Mary's little boy child was born. Trumpets sound and angels sing, listen to what they say. And man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Trumpets sound and angels sing, listen to what they say. And man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day.
Now you see, fellas, as I was telling you first off, it was a long time ago. Well, shucks. I reckon it was nearly more than 2,000 years ago as I recall this here story. But anyhow, as I remember it, there were these cowboys who'd been out riding the range just kind of like what we're doing, you know, just enjoying the outdoors and watching their herds and moving them from pasture to pasture. Well, right in the middle of them guys talking with each other, as they were walking and leading their mounts, here comes this bright light right down out of the sky.
Bud, are you trying to tell us that while these three guys were walking, some kind of big star appeared right out of heaven, right in front of them?
Yep, I think I remember that's how it happened, all right.
So what happened to him, Bud?
Well, as I remember it now, if that wasn't enough, they looked at that there bright light and watched it turn into a big star. Believe it or not, right in front of their eyes, right out of nowhere, it happened. Here come this here big angel, and I'm a-telling you, he was just about blew them away. I mean, can you imagine what they were thinking when that big angel showed up? Well, I reckon they got some sort of a message from him, because they grabbed their horses, left them herds of animals right there where they were, and they headed off to follow that big star.
Boy, Bud, I've heard some whoppers in my time, but this one is the best of them all. You really think we're so dumb that we're going to believe this here story?
Well, it don't matter much. Let's let him finish the story. We ain't got nothing to do anyhow.
Oh, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shining afar through shadows dim, giving a light for those who long and long, and guiding the wise men on their way unto the place where Jesus lay. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawn. Oh, give us a light to light the way into the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star, the hope of rest, for the redeemed, the saved and blessed. Yonder in glory when the crown is won. For Jesus is now that star divine, brighter and brighter he will shine. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawn. Oh, give us the light to light the way into the land of perfect day. Oh, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawn. Oh, give us the light to light the way into the land of perfect day. Oh, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on.
Well, all righty then. It all happened again. You see, just about the time them cowboys headed off to find the baby Jesus, well, the next thing you know, here come the other three fellers.
Come on, Bud. This is getting bigger and bigger as we go. What other three fellas are you talking about now?
Well, I don't remember it all for sure. It's been a long time, you know. But as I remember this here story, these guys were looking a little weird. I mean, according to what my dad read in that there Bible that night, I think these guys were supposed to be some representatives of some king or somebody from some foreign land or something. Anyhow, someone told this king about this baby Jesus, who was a new king that had just been born. So he sent those guys to go over and spy on him and find out about who he was. Well, it took them a while to get there, but finally, here they came. And you know what? As I remember this here story,
Wait. Let me guess. The big angel guy appears in front of them and he blows them away too.
well, now I was just about to tell you. These here guys were all dressed up in these here funny looking bathrobes or something like that, and they didn't wear hats like we have. They had these weird looking things on their heads. Well, anyhow, they were carrying these presents that they were supposed to be delivered to this baby who had been born in this town called Bethlehem. I think this was the same kid as the one the angel told that married girl she was a-having. So I reckon as they were coming across on their journey, maybe even where them cowboys were a-camping, but I think it was probably quite a while after them cowboys were there. Anyhow, that big, bright light came on again, and I think they must have saw that star. Well, I guess as they were talking about the light they'd seen before, that there star got a little brighter, and whammo! Before they could run away or doing anything, there stood that big angel right in front of them. I mean to tell you, I think he probably scared them right out their robes. I mean, have you ever seen an angel like that before? Heck no, you haven't. My dad said these guys' wings were huge and pure white.
So what'd this big angel do, Bud?
Well, I guess he must have told them about the same thing as he told those cowboys, because they looked at each and off they went in the same direction.
We're looking for the King, the new Messiah. We're following the star, shining brighter. Oh man, won't you help us if you can? He shook his head, but then he pointed his hand. There's a new kid in town, and he's lying in a manger down the road. There's a new kid in town, but he's just another baby, I suppose. Heaven knows. There's a new kid in town, here in Bethlehem. I see you travel far, bearing treasures. You say these gifts are for the new king's pleasures. I've heard that a king might come, but until now there hasn't been none. There's a new kid in town, and he's lying in a manger down the road. There's a new kid in town, but he's just another baby, I suppose. Heaven knows. There's a new kid in town, here in Bethlehem. There's a new kid in town, and he's lying in a manger down the road. There's a new kid in town, but
Mary followed her Joseph down to some guy's barn, and they made a place right there in the middle of that old barn with all them animals and stuff. And I reckon as soon as she got kind of comfortable, boom, there he came. She had her little baby Jesus right there in that stable. But that's not the end of the story.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary soul rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Truly He taught us to love one another. His law is love, and His gospel is peace. Chains shall He break, for the slave is our brother, and in His name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise His holy name. Christ is the Lord. Praise His name forever. His power and glory evermore proclaim. His power and glory evermore proclaim. His power and
Okay, so she had her baby. I can't wait to see or hear what's next.
Well, y'all ain't going to believe this, what all transpired next.
Bud, by golly, I ain't believed none of this here story anyways. But since you've done come this far, you might as well tell us the whole thing.
Okay, then. So you remember me talking about those 3 cowboys who were out in them hills when that star and the big angel appeared? Well, guess what? Y'all better grab a hold of your hats, because here's where this Mary and Joseph were just a sitting there holding that little baby Jesus, and all of a sudden, Who do you think shows up? By golly, it's them three cowboys. And then, believe it or not, here come the other three guys who are walking around in them bathrobes. And if you're to think that's something, without even a looking around, you just knew he was there. Yep, there's that big angel guy. And then I'm a-telling you, you're not going to believe this one either. As I recall that Bible story, it said something about the heavens opened up. And down came these angels right out of the sky. And then their angels walked right over to this little baby Jesus, and they bowed down to him. Those guys in the bathrobes, they walked right over there and laid their presents right at this little guy's feet.
Some time ago on a Bethlehem hillside, shepherds guarded their flocks by night. Out of the dark came a message from heaven, angels singing there shone a bright light. Don't be afraid, bring tidings of great joy, for a Savior is born to you. Go and find him, just follow the bright star. They did exactly what the angel said do. Shepherds at the manger, marveled at the sight. God in flesh, Emmanuel. Once upon a Bethlehem night, once upon a Bethlehem night. Go with me to the Bethlehem manger, let us see what the Lord has done. We'll bow down and we'll worship the Savior, Mary's baby is God's own Son. Shepherds at the manger, marveled at the sign. God in flesh, Emmanuel. Once upon a Bethlehem night, once upon a Bethlehem night. Come down to the manger, marvel at the sight. God in flesh, Emmanuel. Once upon a Bethlehem night, once upon a Bethlehem night, once upon a Bethlehem night, once upon a Bethlehem night.
Boys, what y'all doing out here on Christmas Eve? Y'all ought to be at home on a night like this.
Hi, Molly. Bud here's been telling us one big whopper of a story, like what you've never heard in your entire life.
What's the story about? Maybe I'd like to hear a little of it myself.
Well, Bud's been telling us about a Bible story his dad used to read to him and his family every year on Christmas Eve. So we've been just sitting around the fire listening to this old family tale.
I'm a-telling you something, little lady. This is some kind of story.
Hey, wait a minute, you guys. I think I know about this story. It just might be a true story. In fact, I think it's probably about the greatest Christmas present the world's ever had.
Aw, come on. You're not going to believe all that stuff, too. Are you, Molly?
Let me tell you about my Jesus, sent to earth from heaven above. In of God's unending love. He is the grace and peace this world cannot give. He is abundant life, and through him I will live. I give him all the honor, I give him all the praise. Heaven and earth bow before him. He is the truth, the light, the way. I give him all the honor, I give him all the praise. This one with such authority, even stormy winds obey. Let me tell you about my Jesus, who lived and died and rose again. And because willingly he gave his life, I am free from sin. And I choose to follow him every step of the way, where he's preparing me a special place, and he'll take me there someday. I give him all the honor, I give him all the praise. Heaven and earth bow before him. He is the truth, the light, the way. I give him all the honor, I give him all the praise. This one with such authority, even stormy winds obey. Let me tell you about my Jesus.
Oh, come on. You're not going to believe all that stuff, too. Are you, Molly?
Well, let's hear a little more, and then we'll see for ourselves if it's real or not. Go ahead, Bud. Finish your story.
Well, as I was saying, these angels appeared right out of heaven when this baby Jesus was born. All three of them cowboys were there. The three guys in the bathrobes were there. And
Oh, come on, Bud. Knock it off. Enough is enough. If all this were a true story, we'd see the angels and the stars. Some of us would have seen them crazy things, too. Nope, ain't nobody I know ever seen what you're trying to tell us is true. You know what? I ain't a-believin' none of this stuff. It just ain't so. Not unless I see it with my very own two eyes. And I reckon that ain't about to happen. So let's just be who we are and forget about all the religion junk.
well, okay. But for some reason, I just couldn't stop thinking tonight about that story my dad told to me. You know what? I just couldn't help wondering what it might have been like, though.
You were saying you had to see it to believe it? Well, let me tell you what happened to me. When I was a young man, I was wild, full of fire. A youth within my teens, full of challenge and desire. I ran away from all, left my mother and my dad. I know it grieves my soul to think their only boy is bad. I fell in will, and outlaw bunch her names were known quite well. How many times we robbed and plundered, I could never tell. This kind of sinful living leads only to a fall. I learned that much more than I heard my master call. One night we rustled cattle, 1,000 head or so, and started them on out the trail that leads to Mexico. When a norther started blowing, lightning flashed about, I thought someone was calling me, and I thought I heard a shout. And at that moment, lightning struck not 20 yards from me. That there was a giant cross where once there had been a tree. This kind of simple living sounds so strange. A voice came down from heaven and a voice that calls my name. So frightened, I was thinking of the sinful deeds I'd done. I failed to see the 1,000 head of cattle on the run. The cattle, they stampeded, they were running all around. My pony ran but stumbled, and he threw me to the ground. Well, I felt the end was near, that death paid the price, when a mighty bolt of lightning showed the face of Jesus Christ. And I cried, oh Lord, forgive me, don't let it happen now. I want to live for you alone, oh God, these words I vow. My wicked past unfolded, and I thought of wasted years. Then another bolt of lightning killed 100 head of steers. And the others rushed on by me, but I was left to live. The master had a reason why this is to take again. Well, a miracle performed that night, I was meant to die. The dead ones formed a barricade, they 6 or 7 high. And right behind them there was I, safe and sound. I tried to beg for mercy, and there upon the ground. A pardon I was granted, my sinful soul set free. No more to fear the angry waves upon life's stormy seas. Forgiven by the love of God, a love that will remain. I gave my life and soul when I was saved. Call my name.
Wow, Bud. That really happened?
Yeah, Tater, it sure did. So I believe that Jesus is real, and he was there that day to save my life.
Well, maybe there's something to what you're saying. So maybe I should look into this. What should I do, Bud?
You know, all you have to do is be willing to be willing. Just give your heart to Jesus and believe. Let's pray. Well, Father God, we're here this evening, and I'm here with my good buddy, Tater. And we know that you're a forgiving God.
We've gathered here on holy ground. Angels hovering all around.
Stand now before
to the Lamb. Adoration and praises fill my soul. Hallelujahs I will bestow. I will sing to the Lord, lifting my hands. Hallelujah to the Lamb. King of kings and Lord of lords, we come to you in one accord. Holy, hallelujah to the Lamb. Adoration and praises fill my soul. Hallelujahs I will bestow. I will sing to the Lord, lifting my hands. Hallelujah to the Lamb. I will sing to the Lord, lifting my hands. Hallelujah to the Lamb.